The lesson is that you can always choose your attitude. That everybody has things that they struggle with. Everyone has events in their life that just literally wipes them out, kicks them in the balls, just completely changes everything instantly. But we're never going to lose that freedom of choosing our attitude. And health and happiness is a choice, and that it doesn't matter what we do, it doesn't matter what happens to us, we can always build up. In the same way as we can spiral down, we can also control build up. It will actually never be plain sailing, ever, for anyone, ever. Nobody can protect anybody from anything bad happening. I can't even protect my own son from anything bad happening, because bad things will happen to him. He's a human being, and we're vulnerable. But that vulnerability is the beauty of life, and contrast is important. With the bad things, there's an opportunity for a lot of good to happen. I went to New Zealand when I was 8, on holiday, and it was the best time of my life. Like, at that point, as an 8-year-old kid, I'm just in this like country where it's just green and there's sheep in the garden. It's just like this amazing, beautiful paradise. I just had it in my head that one day I was going to go out there again. And my parents, like, whether they did it on purpose or not, in a nurturing way, but they kept reminding me, you know, subtly, oh yeah, you'll go to New Zealand again one day. And then I remember doing a few projects at school and it was all about New Zealand, and they're just like stacking this idea in my head. And then, you know, blow me down with a feather. I'm 19 and I'm on a plane and I'm going out to New Zealand to go and stay for 3 months, to go and learn what it's like to be a personal trainer in my auntie's gym. She owns a gym. 3 months ended up being 18 months. I remember going out there with my mum. She went out for a little holiday. She cried when she went, because she went after 3 weeks. She went home. She said to me, "You're not going to come back, are you?" And as my mum was looking at me, crying, something inside of me just took over and just said, there's too much opportunity here for me, I have to stay. And I think back now, and I think I didn't actually plan that. It just happened. It was a feeling of, you have to do this. Even though your mum, who you love completely, like unconditionally, is crying at you to your face, I still said, I'm going to stay here. I've been offered a job in my hometown, but it just didn't excite me. I wanted to go on adventure. I wanted to go and see the world and experience this beautiful country, which I'd always felt destined to go to. I had a relationship at the time, which had 4 years, and I wasn't happy. I didn't really know who I was as an adult. I didn't understand that yet. I didn't understand myself at all. I just knew I had to go on this adventure and had to go and figure it out. And so I went out there, ended up staying for 18 months. The relationship ended, and it was a choice that was made because I had to find myself. And the time out there was just amazing. I mean, at the time, I was just inadequate as an adult male. I couldn't cook. I couldn't even cook rice or pasta. I didn't have a clue what to do. I didn't have any possessions at the time. I spent all my money irresponsibly. I'd even rang my mum and asked for some money to buy a bed, and she said no, which was some amazing parenting. And I had to figure it out. I got a job as a personal trainer. I started earning money. I started to really enjoy my life and figured out that I'm this person that can connect to people. I was single for the first time as an adult. It was great. I'm in this city, Auckland City, special to me, and it's such a great place. Every single day was enjoyable. I was doing a job that I absolutely loved. I had a flatmate at the time that I just hung out with all the time. We used to do some cool stuff. We used to go out in the evening into the city, to the bars, to the clubs, to the casinos. In the daytime, we'd just chill, we'd grab food, in and out of the gym all the time, just like getting paid good money to do a job that I absolutely loved, and then spending that money because I didn't have any responsibilities. I didn't need to do any saving. It was literally in and out and traded for pleasure immediately, and it was just cool. And I went home for a little holiday for 3 weeks, went to go and see my family, hadn't seen them for a year, had the best time. Went to Spain together. We had our family holiday on the beach. I saw my little bro and we just like hung out. He was like this little adult because he's 7 years younger than me. And he'd gone from a kid to like, he had his own shoes. I'm like, where did you get those from? He's like, oh, I bought them with my own money. And I'm like, okay, you're turning into a little man now. This is cool. We spent some time together, and then I got back on the plane back to New Zealand. And as soon as I touched back down in Auckland, I just had this weird sort of discomfort with being away from my family. And I was like, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to be here any longer. And then I had it in my head that I need to go back home. I didn't know why. But it felt good. It felt content to feel like I was leaving this paradise to go back to like my hometown, which was just Andover. But I was going back because I knew I had to. I didn't know why, and I just had to. When I got back, I planned it so that I surprised my mum for her 50th birthday. My mum didn't know, my brother didn't know, and their faces when I walked through the door. My mum punched me in the chest, just like, what are you doing here? And she's crying. And I see my brother, and he just looks at me like I'm some god. And what kills me about it is he patiently waited to speak to me. He just sort of stood. And then I'm like, yeah, come here, and we have a hug, and he's just crying with joy, and everybody's just happy. Happy. They're just happy, right? Everyone's together and everyone's happy. And my life was perfect, literally perfect by definition. I had the world at my feet. I had plans. I was going to come to America, of all places. I was going to come here, do a bit of adventure. I had it all planned out. I was going to go on my next chapter. But in the meantime, it was just about being at home with my family and just enjoying them. I spent 44 days in that family unit. We had sun, we had snow, we played snowball fights. Me and my brother would run around the garden throwing snow at each other. We just like enjoyed each other for 44 days. And on the 15th of March, 5 days before his 14th birthday, my brother Jamie passed away. And he passed away from a heart condition that was completely undetectable, that nobody knew about, nobody could have known. And he was taken away from us instantly, overnight, like that. The worst thing that could have happened to me happened. He was my little brother, and I think that was the reason why I had to come home, to be with him. If I think about it, that was the driver for me. On the last day that we spent together, he had a football match, and I woke up. I remember opening my eyes on a Saturday morning. It was bright, the sun was shining through the windows. I heard my brother and my dad arguing like they always do about like my dad still being in bed and they have to leave because he's going to be late for football. And I remember thinking to myself, oh, do you know what, I could just go back to sleep. I've been out the night before, I've been partying, I was a little bit hungover. But I was like, no, I'm going to go and watch the game. I'm going to go and watch the game. So I turned up, and the game, I'd said to him before the game, I said, look, today, because you're the captain, right? You're the man, you're the big dog, and with your boys. When you talk, like when you give advice on the pitch, do it with a purpose, do it with like some kind of intent. Don't just shout and say, come on, like actually give people advice and tell them what you need them to do. You're the captain, give them information. And he listened to me, and as I was watching the game, he was doing it, and he's sort of looking over at me like, did you see that? You know, like, big bro, did you see that? And I was so proud of him, and he actually scored the winning goal. The ball came out of the air, he shouted, Jamie's boys, take the ball down, and he's pumped it straight into the net. And he's just looked at me and my dad, and I've jumped, because I'm like, whoa, that was an amazing goal. And he's just looked at me and my dad, and he's just like, yeah, and we're like, yeah. So to be honest, completely honest, a lot of it's blocked out by my mind because it's so painful. But when I really think about it, we spent like 2 or 3 weeks in just a black hole, just crying all the time and trying to figure out why this thing had happened, why this human being that we love so much is no longer with us. And the moment that, because my younger brother died, my only younger brother died, I don't really need to explain. It was just the worst thing that could possibly happen to me, and I cried and cried and cried and cried and cried. And then the moment that I realized that the choice existed was at his funeral. There were 700 people there, which is just crazy for like a 13-year-old boy. His legacy is just in front of me as I'm stood there speaking at my younger brother's funeral, and I feel content. And my content feeling is there in my heart because I know that I'm doing what he would want me to do. And I know that if it had been flip reverse, that I would want him to go and make it happen, and that he would have to live for both of us now, and he has to stand up and he has to be the guy. And in that moment, I realized that the choice existed and there's another way of living. I realized that I had the choice to create a different future despite everything that had happened. And then, you know, my path has led me to now be able to help other people to discover this choice. And there are so many things that can happen in life that can knock us down, and life can throw curveballs and blindside us and just destroy us completely overnight. Yet, we'll always have the choice, and the choice exists in your heart. You have to find the things that fill your heart up and do those things, and forget about all the hindering thoughts you have about not being good enough, and forget all that. Forget what other people think, and it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. When you think about the things that have hurt you that much in your life, those are the reasons why you're alive, because you felt that hurt and pain, and you felt that it was real. So because you felt that, you're stronger for it, and you can choose to use those things and those problems and those scars and that trauma to accelerate your life up, and to learn and share what you've learned from being an ingenious survivor and not a victim. So look, I've poured my heart out into this video, and I know, I mean, look, this is a special, like this, even this moment is special in the way that we've connected in this way. And you've watched this video, and if it's resonated with you, if you felt like it's helped you, share the love.